So, question number 6. What kind of relationship do you try to create with your athletes?
I try to create a friendly, relationship. I want to. I mean, these guys, I'm coaching them, but when they were young, the teaching mode. But then as they got older, I became, like friends to them. Somebody they can, they can tell me something else. Also if they had an issue off the field. And a lot of the kids I still see today, and they call me coach. Yeah, I haven't seen the guy in a long time. So I try to create a good. All the kids that I coached, we were all like family. So I mean, they were all my kids.
Yeah. So why is creating a relationship so important?
Well, I mean, because I wasn't just about winning. It was about, it was having, learning, work ethic, having a good time, competing. So it wasn't just like, oh, we win, and if you're not good enough, you're out of here. We worked with the kids to, make everybody better. We kept the same kids. We didn't go through a ton of kids. Kept, the core group of kids from when they were very young until all the way to college. So, I feel like we had a good relationship. We did everything together, played ball before they started high school and college year round. I mean, there's just a real family atmosphere.
Yes. And how do you motivate different kinds of athletes and personalities?
So some kids, you got to ride them. At least in my opinion, like, some guys, you're almost like a teacher or a psychiatrist. Some kids that you need to get on them. You got to press them. You got to push them to be the best. Other kids, have that it's in them, and they're already working hard all the time. So each kid you got to treat a little different. You got to push different buttons to get the most out of them.
Yep, I agree with that. How do you choose team captains?
Well, I never had team captains. I never did team captains. I don't know. I mean, I guess there's different ways to do that. I just never did that. I never put anybody. I mean, they all worked hard, and if they didn't work hard, we never really had any problems like that.
So generally speaking, did like a certain couple
I mean, there was better kids than others.
Like the leaders. Of
Yeah,
the
we
team?
had team leaders. Yeah, but not appointed by me. You
So
know what I mean?
appointed by teammates?
Yeah, no, but these maybe the top kids on the team spoke up a little bit more. But it wasn't guys we went to more, we relied on more, but and they played bigger roles in winning. But I mean, I didn't never appoint anybody. You're the captain, and and you're not.
Yeah. What kind of team dynamics did you try to create?
A fun atmosphere, competitive, work hard. Put it all. Leave it all out on the field. We're gonna. And we wanted to play the best. All the time. We always wanted to play the best competition. Win or lose, we wanted to play the best. That was our goal. We just anybody anytime we wanted to play all the time.
How do you describe your leadership style?
Tough love, is how I try to, that maybe that's more of a coaching style, but I just try to, hard work. You'll be rewarded. You work hard, you're gonna get better. You put in the work when you're off the field, you're gonna be better when you come back. Nobody gets to the top without putting in the time. It's all about your work ethic, what you do off the field, and in the end, that determines your success, how much you put into it.
Yeah. In what ways do your personality impact the way you coach?
I'm a hands-on guy, my emotions, so I'm a kind of guy who gives a lot of pep talks, bring everybody in and try to motivate them, through my excitement, and tell them what, try to tell them, understand what it takes to be a champion, the sacrifice. So that's the kind of coach I am. I wear my emotions out. Everybody knows how, what's going on around me. I don't hide my feelings.
How do you go about preparing, planning, and organizing as a coach?
So we had. I think that the main thing is repetition, doing things the same way over and over and over. So we prepared. We practiced, 3 days a week. 3 days a week. It wasn't, today we have practice, tomorrow we don't, or maybe on Saturday. No, it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then on the side, these guys had to do their own thing.
Yep.
But so we always kept things steady. We had our own practice field. We used to do the cages. We did all the different things, and went through all our drills. And we did the same thing over and over and over. And we took pride on being a great defensive team, a good hitting team, a clutch team. And it was because we did the same thing, the same routine over and over and over.
Yes. And then why do you think that's important?
Well, I think it's important because then the kids they get so used to doing it that when it comes time in the game time, it's just natural. They're just ready to go. It's it's all those things that we practice: pick-off moves, double plays, relays, all those things. If you do them over and over and over and over, when the time comes in the game, it's bang.
It's like habit, yeah. And then why is it crucial for coaches to consider age and skill level when coaching?
It's important because you don't want to put kids in a situation where they're going to fail. So if a kid is not at the same skill level, but he just wants to be out there, it's really not fair to the kid because he's going to really struggle, and then with that lack of success, he may end up quitting or not continuing on. So it's best that they play at their level or a little bit above their level, until they get to the point where they can compete where they want to be at.
Mm-hmm. How did you create positive relationships with parents?
I was fortunate. I had a good group of parents. I had 2 other parents that coached with me. We did a lot. We would only have 11 kids, so we didn't have a giant squad. We had 11 kids. We were all relatively close. There were some kids that parents couldn't make it. We would take them. But the parents that were there all the time, we did everything together. I mean, we spent a lot of time together, in hotels and restaurants and barbecues and parties. But we were all family. So it was really easy for us because we had a great group of people that we enjoyed being around.
How can coaches influence athletes' lives outside of sports and encourage positive?
Yeah, so, I mean, we enjoyed the playing baseball. But we encourage them all the time to do good in school, to make them understand that their GPA was really important. And we from day one was school first, then baseball. And so, because we knew in the end, more than likely, nobody was going to make the major leagues. So you're going to have a life to live. So and the most important was to get an education. So we would try to stress that. You got to do good in school. And just about everybody played college baseball that we coached. That's all the way up.
How do you think you can create an inclusive and safe environment for all types of athletes? So that could go as race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, class, even their talent.
So, I'm not really sure. The environment that we were pretty multi-ethnical. We had a couple of black kids, a bunch of Mexican kids, and some white kids. So we were pretty diverse. Mm-hmm. It was we never looked at it like we didn't have any girls on the team, but it was really a non-issue. Like having to protect anybody or integrate anybody or anything like that. We were just all family. It was just friends and fun.
Yeah, so that kind of leads to question number 16. Why should coaches have knowledge about Title IX?
Yeah, see, I didn't have to get into any of that because we were doing club ball. So I didn't coach it at college or high school. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have to deal with any of that. But if every school was as diverse as my team, they'd be doing real good. I can tell you that.
How can coaches proactively minimize liabilities and risks?
Yeah, so you don't want to do unsafe things. You don't want to overwork. You don't want to, if a bullpens, you have to be careful. You have to do things. You